Hey, what's up, guys? We are back and we've got our NFL stuff all figured out. We've got some demon slips. We've got 6 picks for you for regular lines, and then Jordy and I both made demon slips that we're going to break down for you. Really excited about tonight's slate. We got 2 games. I've got massive like playoff implications here for Dynasty, so I'm going to be so zoned into this game, both of these games, but Jordy's on his bye week, so he's just sitting in his ivory tower watching me fight for my life. But yeah, I've got Jordan Addison left in tonight's game and Bijan Robinson, and I'm in a tight battle. So really need both of those guys to really show up. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel dialed in. I feel good about these plays. Yeah, we'll shout out the partners real quick. Better, Underdog, and Parlay Play. If you use code BACKDOOR, you'll get hooked up by all these platforms. Better, you will get a $200 deposit match, plus a free pick to help you cash your first slip. And Underdog, they're going to give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash, plus a free pick to help you cash your first slip. And then Parlay Play is going to give you 100% deposit match up to $100, plus a $5 promo slip. Plus, with Parlay Play, if you make sure to use the code BACKDOOR, we're going to give you a month in our Discord as well. So if you want to take advantage of that, just make sure you put the code in and then email us at bdfantasysports@gmail.com, and we will confirm that the code was used by your username on Parlay Play. And once we do that, we will hook you up. So all of that information is down below if you guys want to check out any of the platforms we're partnered with. So let's start breaking it down. For my plays, across all of the platforms, these lines are all a little bit different, but I'm confident in all of these. So I don't really care if the line is bumped a little higher, a little lower, but I'm going over 59.5 receiving yards for Jordan Addison, going over 57.5 receiving yards for DJ Moore, and then going over 5.5 receptions for Jakobi Meyers. Now, Jakobi should be the same on all platforms, but yeah, DJ Moore and Jordan Addison, it's kind of like within 2 or 3 yards, but I think both of these guys are having big nights, so I don't really care what the line set at. I'm taking it for more. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, so for me, I'm going to be going with Ray McLeod's longest reception over 17.5. I'm taking Aaron Jones for over 15.5 rushing yards in the first quarter. If you can find this line on any platform, I think the ones I'm finding right now are Parlay Play and Prize Picks. This is a sweet line, loving that. And then Darnell Mooney over 52.5 receiving yards. Same thing with Mooney. His are kind of all over the place. It's either 50, 50.5, 51.5. I like it all the way up to 53.5. Ray McLeod, we're getting this longest reception on every platform. And then where you can't find the first half or first quarter Aaron Jones prop, just take his full rushing yards at 66. I think that's a solid deal. So that's what I'm going to be going with.
All right. Well, we've got some demon slips as well that we will break down. Do you want me to just break down mine real quick? You want to break down yours?
No, you're good.
All right, cool. So for mine, I'm swinging for the fences on this one. 6-man, this is a 200x, and then 5 of 6 is 15x, and then 4 of 6 is 3x. But I'm going Jakobi Meyers, bumping that receptions up. I'm confident he's going to go over 5.5. I think you can get one more for me to make this demon slip. 6.5 receptions. Ray McLeod, I've got his receiving yards over 59.5. Darnell Mooney, receiving yards over 59.5. TJ Hawkinson, receiving yards over 59.5. And then DJ Moore, I've got it bumped up to 79.5 receiving yards. And Jordan Addison, I also have it bumped up to 79.5 receiving yards. Now, these are the type of plays that I'm going to be bumping these around, just covering multiple scenarios. Like I'm probably going to make an even crazier one with Darnell Mooney and Ray McLeod bumped up a little bit. I'm going to have one where I max out Hawkinson's receiving yards, however high they'll let me go. But I'm probably not going to adjust Jakobi Meyers much. If I keep him in the equation, it'll be in that 6.5 range. I don't really want to go with his yards demon personally, or I don't really want to go any higher than 6.5 receptions. But Hawkinson, Mooney. Actually, everyone else I'm going to be messing with. I mean, you can already see I've got DJ Moore and Jordan Addison both bumped up higher than their like basic demon. Like I didn't take the lowest on theirs, but all of these guys, all 5 of these guys could have wild nights tonight. There's a lot that we'll break down and get into. But what do you got for your demon slip, Jordy?
Yeah, so for mine, I'm taking this Sincere McCormick over 0.5 touchdown demon. I really think he's going to find the end zone. I'll explain why a little bit later. I'm taking Darnell Mooney over 59.5 receiving yards. Hawkinson over 49.5 receiving yards. Some of these you can't get anymore. I did share this to the Discord because they did move some of these lines, and I don't know if some of these are available anymore. But Hawkinson's demon was giving me a nice multiplier at 49.5. I'm taking Cario Santos over 1.5 field goals made. Bijan Robinson over 89.5 rushing yards, and Justin Jefferson over 89.5 receiving yard demon. I'm power playing this for 104x, but I think if you were just to flex it, I think it was giving me like a 74x, a 5x, and then a 1x. So you would get your money back on 4 out of 6, and then the rest. But I like to power everything because I'm a nut job. But yeah, that's gonna be mine.
All right. Well, let's start breaking it down. Let's see. So for the regular lines, Jordan Addison, I'm like all over this play. I started looking at this game and this matchup early on this week because I'm in round 1 of the playoffs. I didn't get a bye, and it's our most important league. It's our dynasty league. And we take it very seriously. It's a big part of our lives. But yeah, so I really want to advance in the playoffs. And so I ended up, he's been boom or bust, but lately it's been more boom than bust. But I've just had like a string of weeks where I just get I get this, my roster, my starting lineup just wrong. And my guys are just popping off on the bench. And he did this to me last week. He had a massive week. And so my point is I started diving into, I even had to double check yesterday, looking at the playoff implications. So Seattle lost to the Packers, obviously, and that actually clinched a playoff spot for the Vikings. But the Vikings still have a reason to come out and win out the rest of the season. And that's that they have a shot at just taking the entire NFC, like taking the top spot all the way down to week 18. If they beat the Lions and they keep their record what it is now, they'll have home field advantage as far as they go. So they really want that. They have a reason to play tonight. And so, I mean, yeah, Addison, like it's been kind of a little boom or bust. But so if we look at the last time he played Chicago a few weeks ago, that was in Chicago, but Chicago put all of their focus on Justin Jefferson, and they shut him down pretty good. And because of that, TJ Hawkinson and Jordan Addison had monster games. But Justin Jefferson it doesn't mean that he's not going to have a good game tonight, but we know that is what the Bears plan to do, is say, however you're going to beat us, you have to beat us without Justin Jefferson. That's what they did last time. And this game went to overtime. The Bears lost by 3 points. They almost had this game. So it worked like a charm. They still lost the game, but it still wasn't a stomping. It wasn't the Vikings just walking through them. So yeah, 30-27 and going to overtime was last time they matched up. And Jordan Addison went for 162 yards, 8 receptions. I think he had at least 1 touchdown in that game. Yeah, he had 1 touchdown in that game. Last week, Addison against Atlanta had 3 touchdowns. He outperformed Justin Jefferson last week as well. So he's really emerging. 8 receptions, whatever the yards were there. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm all in on Jordan Addison tonight. 162 yards and a touchdown on 8 receptions last time they matched up. And let me just pull it up to show you guys real quick. Since we know that these episodes are a little bit longer lately, because we only have like like just under 2 months of football left, and we've been dialing in. Basketball, things are still shaking out. Still a little bit of inconsistency, kind of hard to predict, but football is right in the sweet spot right now. So we're just putting, a lot more time into dialing in this home stretch for football. But if we take a look at Justin Jefferson, when they tried to bottle him up, 27 yards, and 5 targets, 2 receptions. It was just an absolute, they shut him down. So I think that's going to be the game plan again tonight. That's why for fantasy, I started Jordan Addison over Brian Thomas Jr., which was probably a mistake because he went nuts, but also over Jackson Smith and Jigba, who had a good outing, but I'm still just putting it all on the line that Jordan Addison is going to take me to the promised land tonight. So I think I've said enough about that. His regular line, I'm all over, absolutely 55 and a half. Yeah, he went for 162 last time they played, and then 133 last week. He's gone over it in almost 4 straight. Against Arizona, he didn't do much at all until the very end, but he still went for 54 yards on a really poor game. So, that's my narrative. That's what I'm running with for Addison. If we take a look here, Daily Grind likes his receiving yards to go over, just barely. This is just crunching data, is what this app does. So it's less about narrative, and narrative means a lot tonight. So 50.7% odds to hit the over. I think it's got a way better chance of hitting the over personally. Boomer bust though. It could just be like Justin Jefferson torches them tonight and they find a way to just make it a Justin Jefferson night. That's in the range of outcomes, obviously. They do like this other prop here, Jordan Addison, Keenan Allen, receiving yards combo over 104. 52.64% odds to hit the over if you wanted to pivot, but we'll keep moving. So I think that what I just broke down for you for Addison is why I'm gonna, I'll just say it one last time, I'm gonna make multiple demon slips with just cranking those receiving yards all the way up. I'll probably make, just to be on the safe side, I'll probably make a couple with his receptions bumped up too, since he does have 8 last week and then 8 in that last time they matched up. So, you could bump that up to 6.5, 7.5. I wouldn't really go much higher than that. But 6.5, I think his receptions are currently at 4. So that looks good too, if you don't want to take the receiving yards. But so it's probably a demon if you bump that up even to just 5.5. Maybe there's one for 4.5. You could mess with all of those all the way up to 6.5 is what I would be comfortable with. If they have the opportunity and you want to make a YOLO and see if he goes for 8 again tonight, you could, but that's just if you're really just taking a shot, so go with your gut. I'm gonna be using a lot of different types of demons of his tonight. All right, DJ Moore. So he's got a great matchup here. And he went off last time they played. I didn't really break down Jordan Addison's matchup because I don't really think it matters because all the attention is going to be on Justin Jefferson. But DJ Moore on the opposite side here. He's got a killer matchup, 32nd in receiving yards allowed. Teams can just pass all over the Vikings right now. Last time they matched up in that same game where they almost, they kept it really close. He had 106 receiving yards. Let's see, his targets have been solid in these games. Actually, he did it on 7 targets. Targets, nothing too crazy. Obviously that one game against Detroit where he had 16 targets, that's not really typical. If we look at his receptions, that is EV plus play on Outlier, 4 straight games with 6 receptions. They're also 32nd in receptions allowed. So if you want to take the receptions instead of the yards, go for it. But he's a burner. So I'm going to be taking the receiving yards. And once again, he's got these games against pass funnel defenses. The Vikings are really hard to run on. They were hard to pass on at the beginning of the year too, but they kind of just lost that. But they're still difficult to run against. So 32nd in receiving yards, they're a total pass funnel, just like Detroit. And we see him thriving in those scenarios, 97 yards against Detroit, 106 yards against Minnesota last time they played. I can't wait for this game. I'm so excited for it. So on the optimizer, they like his receiving yards as the best to go over. They don't have any of these very juiced. And so, again, this is where narrative comes into play over just data and looking at like what all these different odds are on these platforms and crunching numbers, which is what the optimizer does, which is awesome. But yeah, there's a lot of narrative involved tonight. So they have this as his best play still, though, on Prize Picks. 50.77% odds to hit the over, -121. So just confirming that a little bit with daily grind. And then Jacoby Myers. I like him for his receptions over 5.5. Really soft matchup, 30th in receptions allowed, and he's been kind of quarterback proof with staying involved in the game. Brock Bowers, I'm gonna throw him into some slips as well and throw him into some demon slips, but Brock Bowers he's an incredible talent, but for whatever reason he hasn't been popping off at home as much, and they're playing in Las Vegas, and we also don't know who's starting at quarterback tonight. It could be Desmond Ridder. Last time we checked, Aiden O'Connell, who is we hope he's the one playing, but it says dealing with the knee, they'll decide during pregame warmups Monday whether he'll play or not. So he has a chance to play. We hope he does. But with Aiden O'Connell, he's been thriving, and even without him, Ridder seemed to. So I'll take Aiden out of the equation here. Ridder seemed to still be targeting Myers. So that. Wait a minute. Last 10. What am I getting confused about? I apologize. There's something not. Did I click the wrong guy? So games without Aiden O'Connell. Oh, that's right, because there was Gardner Minshew, right? Wasn't Gardner playing for the Raiders?
Yeah, for a while.
Is he still playing? Okay, because I was like, these are without Aiden. Okay, so, but yeah, we see this most recent game on November 24th without him. So I guess maybe that was probably Gardner then, right? November 24th? Yeah, that wouldn't have been Ridder. So, but that's the most recent game. That's kind of confusing. I'll do a little bit more research on that, figure that out. My point is he's been getting these receptions done a pretty decent amount, even without Aiden, but we hope Aiden plays. But I'm comfortable with him hitting 6 receptions tonight. So I thought it was more of a safe play, and I feel good about like bumping that up to just one more for the Demon. So I'm going to be taking a shot on that. And he's got the soft matchup against Atlanta. And Atlanta is like not totally out of the playoff picture. It's not looking good. Let's see, on the bubble. Yeah, see, they've got, if they win tonight, they have a 35% chance of making playoffs, which is better than most. That's better than my Cardinals, even though the Cardinals are already at 7-7. But yeah, so Falcons really need this win. They should be able to get it done. We haven't even looked at the over under yet, but let's take a look here. So for this game, 44.5 point over under, Atlanta favored by 5.5. So yeah, going on the road to Las Vegas. And then that other game, 43.5 over under, Minnesota favored by 7, playing in Minnesota. This is going to be great. I'm just so hyped for these games. Let's take a look at Jacoby Myers here. So they like his receiving yards to go over 59.5. They don't like the receptions at 5.5. So go with your gut. Maybe this is a play that you want to avoid. You don't have to take every play that we're feeling, but I'm going to be going with it. And like I said, I'm going to play a little bit of Myers. I'm going to play a little bit of Bowers. But overall, I'm probably going to be a lot more into this Chicago versus Minnesota game. But there's definitely going to be some value to be had in this other game as well. But yeah, they've got this slightly favored to the under, 50.18% odds to hit the under. So go with your gut. If you don't want to take it, don't take it. And then, yeah, I can show some of these if you want, but I know that you're going to be breaking down some of these as well. I'll just do Hawk real quick. So yeah, TJ Hawkinson has the same situation that Jordan Addison does. Last time they played, him and Addison went absolutely ham because they were just like, yeah, beat us without Justin Jefferson. That's what we're going to make you do. And he went nuts. He went for 114 yards. That's why I was saying him and Addison, both of those demon plays, I'm going to be making some that are more conservative and some that I'm just like, I'm shooting for the stars here. I'm going to crank that all the way up and see what I can get just in case. because when you're making those demon plays, when you're flexing, especially on a 6-man, like you can, like I had a bunch of demon plays on Sunday yesterday that had the opportunity to go absolutely to the moon, and a lot of them went 4 of 6, and they were still green. I was still making like 3 to 5x on these. So that's what I'm going to be doing tonight too. Some more conservatives, some that I'm just flexing always. I did a couple powers yesterday, and I had a power play go 5 of 6, and I was so mad that I didn't flex. So I think today I'm going all flex. But yeah, he's got a soft matchup here. 28th in receiving yards allowed to tight ends, and last time they played, he just totally burned them. He just got fed. He's never not hit this against Chicago. Obviously, that's that is still with the Vikings. So yeah, he went for 114 yards. Let's take a look. He had 9 targets in that game, 7 receptions. So yeah, I feel great about it. And then I'll let Jordy break down some of these. In my demon slip, still got Ray, Darnell Mooney. And I guess that's all of them. But yeah, Darnell Mooney and Ray are just pretty simple, straightforward. The matchup is a little bit difficult, but they have a lot that they're playing for, and Ray's been really popping off in these last 2 games. But I'll let Jordy get into a little bit more detail since these are his regular plays too. So yeah, that's going to cover my full demon slip. I'll just tell you guys one more time. Jacoby Myers, 6.5 receptions, taking that for more. Ray over 59.5. Darnell Mooney over 59.5. Hawkinson over 59.5. Again, I'm going to make one where I crank that one up as high as it'll go too. DJ Moore, I got that already boosted up to 79.5, and Jordan Addison 79.5. But if you guys want to check out Outlier, it is like killer for this type of stuff. Like when you're trying to figure out how high do you want to make these lines on demon slips? Do you want to go receptions? Do you want to go receiving yards? You can get super into the details, with receptions, receiving yards, head to head, taking players in and out of the equation. Like we know Aiden O'Connell, like we did there. They've got you covered for everything, and you can try this out for free. Just go through the Outlier link below and sign up through that link. If you sign up there, they're going to give you a week just to try it out before you have to commit to anything. So that's going to cover it for my plays. If you guys have any questions, drop us a comment, and I'll pass it over to Jordy.
All right. Yeah. So to get into mine here, I've obviously got this Ray McLeod over his longest reception at 17.5. I feel great about Ray tonight. I think he's a big down the field target guy whenever you watch him, and whenever he's popping off in these massive games. He always has that one big catch that's like really meaningful, and it turns the tide for their offense, and it always comes at the right time. So over the last 5 games, he's hit this 4 times in a row. He's gone for 20, 60, and 27. So the dude can absolutely burn people, and he's going to be a big problem in this defense, for the defense tonight, I think. So, this is going to be a pretty fun matchup. The Raiders, I'm not sure how their offense is going to look. I'm not a big fan of Desmond Ridder, obviously, not as like a person, just as like his, his play style is just not great. So I really hope that Aiden O'Connell does play, because I'm staying away from like everything Raiders except for Sincere McCormick, because I'm just a little scared of what that's going to look like tonight. And if AOC is even healthy enough to be out there playing, if he does play, whatever that's going to look like. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I am, and it's a better game. But yeah, I think Ray McLeod's got a good shot to hit this tonight. If you look at his receiving yards, he's been popping off. So bumping his receiving yards up for a demon is absolutely viable. I mean, 11th in receiving yards is, definitely a tough defense, but the Raiders, they've given up a lot of air yards too. So it's not like something where I'm incredibly terrified of this matchup or anything like that. So the Raiders as a whole, their defense is like their strong point, and it's still not that great. So obviously Max Crosby's out, so that's a huge thing. No Max Crosby. We'll see how it looks. Zamir White is out. That's why I really like Sincere McCormick tonight, but he's on IR. So Ray McLeod, I feel good about this. The longest reception looks really solid to me. He's hit this in 7 out of 13 games. His receiving yards, the same thing. So whenever he's hitting that longest reception, he's hitting his receiving yards. So I think it makes sense. to take the guy who is their deep threat for over his longest reception. So taking him for over 17.5. And then Aaron Jones, this first quarter rushing yards looks insane. He's hit it in all 3 head-to-heads. Last matchup, he had 55 rushing yards in the first quarter. He's hit this 10 out of 13 games this year. I was way wrong on Aaron Jones. I traded him in Dynasty for Zach Moss, which was in hindsight a horrible trade. But I thought maybe he might be over the hill this year. But man, he's looked really solid. This is a super Charmin Ultra Soft matchup for him. 31st in rushing yards allowed. So I mean, he obviously went off last time they played him. His rushing yards total was 106. The time before that, when he played him when he was still with the Packers, he went for 111. So he stays eating against the Bears defense for sure. So definitely like the matchup for Aaron Jones tonight. The first quarter rushing looks great, and then excuse me, I'm still dealing with the sickness, but if you can't find that first quarter rushing, his full rushing yards looks great. I'm definitely going to be bumping that up in a demon slip as well. So like this to go over, excuse me. And yeah, so taking that first quarter rushing and his regular rushing over. Ray McLeod, by the way, is favored to go over the longest reception yard at 17.5 on DG. That's favored over pretty much everywhere. So liking that. Darnell Mooney, he's gonna be my last pick here. I think this is just gonna be the way they go tonight. You know, I think the Raiders are really gonna try to stop the run, and you know, I still think Bijan's gonna have a good game. I've got him in my slip as well, my demon slip. But Darnell Mooney is a very, very talented player. You know, last time he played them, he did not hit this line, but he was still with Chicago, and Chicago was not treating this dude right. And ever since he's had Kirk Cousins, he's looked really, really solid. His route running is incredible, and he's got really good hands. So he's hit this line 8 out of 13 times, this 51 line. So, you know, in that last game, he's coming off that huge game against Minnesota, 142 receiving yards. But he's been steadily coming around the 100-yard range here. So bumping his lineup is not a bad idea either. Hopefully these games stay competitive so we can all eat tonight with these overs in the massive, you know, multipliers. So really excited to get into some of these and boost these up. But yeah, that's going to cover all my regular plays. Darnell Mooney is favored to go over his receiving yards to minus 118. So feeling good about him. And now to get into some of this demon slip here, let me pull this up. So Sincere McCormick, let me just pull him up really quick, because I do feel good about him hitting this touchdown prop, and I'll show you why. If we just pull this up, he has not had a touchdown yet, but he's only started these last 3 games since Zamir White has been out, and he's looked pretty solid. So 23rd in touchdowns allowed, 3rd to running backs. So it is a tough running back matchup, but he had 6 red zone attempts in that last game. So they're really trying to get this guy in the end zone, and that was against Tampa Bay. They're a very, very good rushing defense. Atlanta's rushing defense is pretty solid, but there's definitely some holes in it. If you look at this though, like the rushing attempts in the red zone, 5 attempts, 1 red zone target, so they even tried to throw him the ball. But if you look at the rushing matchup, rushing yards allowed 15th, receiving yards to running backs 13th, so he's got a solid matchup ahead of him. He went for 78 rushing yards against Tampa Bay, pretty solid outing, so definitely look his way tonight. I think he looks pretty solid. So he's definitely, none of the Raiders running backs are like, you know, Bijan Robinson or anything special, but they are. Sincere McCormick, I think, does look the best out of all of them, I think, so far. So they look like they've got something going in the right direction there. So hopefully he can just punch that ticket tonight and get in the end zone. But yeah, Darnell Mooney bumping him up to 59.5 receiving yards. It's not much higher. I just feel good about that. TJ Hawkinson, Russo covered him. I love this play. You know, he just went off in that last matchup, so nothing to be afraid of there. Santos for over the 1.5 field goals. I'll pull this up too. This isn't anything too, you know, crazy of like a hidden gem or anything like that, but the last time they matched up, he had 2. He hit this in every head-to-head. The matchup before that, he went for 4. So this year he's only gone over it 5 out of 13 times, so nothing too crazy. But you know, field goal attempts second allowed, so it's a tough matchup. But I just think there's a lot of value to be had in this game, because in the last game he had 3 field goal attempts and missed 1. So you know, if he can just get in range, I think they're relying on him more and more. So I do like this to go over. And then let's see here, Justin Jefferson. I do not think that's going to happen again. Maybe I'm wrong. I could very well be wrong. I just don't think that he's going to get completely shut off like last game. I think he'll get his opportunities. He only had 5 targets in that game. He's usually creeping around 9 or 8 targets. Obviously, Jordan Addison has been popping off, so it's been helping a lot. This is a tough defense to play against, 3rd in receiving targets allowed. So, they definitely shut him off in that last game. He only had 5 targets for 2 receptions. Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I'm taking him for that demon over 89.5 receiving yards. I really think that he's going to right the ship this time and get his revenge, but maybe I'm wrong because he just went off against Atlanta. He had 132 receiving yards even with Addison going off. So this is a really scary 1-2 punch with him and Addison. So we'll see how it goes tonight. I'm curious. I definitely think all the receivers are going to eat, even Hawkinson. So yeah, that's my power play there, 104x. So that's going to be all my plays today. Excuse me, sorry for pausing so much, but if you want to check out dgfantasy.com, check them out.
They are cover it.
Yeah, if you don't mind, my throat is so dry.
I don't need to make you suffer through that anymore. If you guys want to check out Daily Grind, this is, honestly, Daily Grind and Outlier, like, we love these apps. Like, they're killer. They help you just kind of vet your plays. And I've said this to many people in the comments, but like, the more you use the optimizer and the more you use Outlier, you continue to learn ways to implement it. Like, the basics are like, yeah, you want to get started. You get your DG fantasy going, and it'll just show you like, hey, this is what according to the data looks good. This is where there's a discrepancy. This is, you set it to the platform you want to use. Like, have it set to Prize Picks. I can switch it over to Underdog, Parlay, Play Better, Dabble, DraftKings, like Fliff. They've got it all covered here. But what they're doing is they're comparing everything on Prize Picks to what it looks like on the other platforms. They're giving you all of the odds that those other platforms are giving it, and then they're looking for discrepancies. You can see I've got this checked on, which I like to keep on, the show line discrepancies. And so for example, they like Desmond Ritter's fantasy score to go over, and it's because the AI is quickly catching, okay, this is at 14. Look at everyone else has this up at 15.7, and they look at what those odds are saying, and they're like, hey, we think this has a good shot to go over because it's way cheaper on this platform. And sometimes you're on Prize Picks and you're like, this is a full point lower on Parlay Play. I'm going to go play it over there instead. So there's all sorts of different ways that you can implement the optimizer. I love it. We use it every single day. Yeah. So one of the other ways is like we said, what's crazy to me is like the optimizer almost never is favoring fantasy score to go over. You have to kind of learn how to read what the optimizer is trying to tell you about fantasy score. And so a lot of times it'll have, because narrative is not a part of what this is doing. This is just raw data analytics, which is a killer tool, yeah, as far as fantasy score, sometimes you'll be looking and it's like, dang, they're saying that Saquon should go under 18 fantasy score. We're never taking that under, and it's just because it's crunching numbers and it's saying there's a discrepancy here. So you get to know it. You get to start to learn over time, like how to read what it's trying to tell you. And there's basics to it, but I guess what I'm trying to say is like the more you use this thing, the more you'll figure out how to get it even more of an edge. And especially using it side by side with Outlier. Outlier is something that helps you build your narrative more, which I love to do. I'm definitely more on the narrative side of things, but every now and again, I'll just start looking for plays on the optimizer. Like I just showed you, when you have nothing in there, it just says like, all right, here's what's going up. And it's like refreshing all the time. It auto refreshes. You don't have to refresh the whole website. So I'll just be like, what's popping off? And sometimes it's not even about like, the optimizer finding the most incredible play all the time. It's more so like it's putting it on your radar immediately if a platform is making a mistake. Didn't mean to go into like this long spiel, but we haven't ever actually gone into depth of how we use the optimizer and why it's so important to what we're doing. But if you guys do want to try this out, you can get 25% off. Just go to dgfantasy.com and use code BACKDOOR, and they'll let you lock that in for as long as you want to make your first subscription. So they'll let you lock it in for a full year if you really want the 25% off for that long. And you're like, hey, let me just go for it. Like they'll let you take advantage of the discount for that long. And it's also killer for NBA too. And you can, another thing that's nice is you can put you can check your favorite sports, and then it'll just find the best value between all the sports you're looking at on whatever platform you're playing on. Like Walker Kessler, they think under his fantasy score, that's a perfect example of what I was saying about the fantasy score. This dude is just too scary defensively for me to take his fantasy score under. That would just be pure anxiety for me. But yeah, it's a killer tool. And then you can type in players specifically, and then it'll show you everything for that player. So yeah, if you guys want to try it out, take advantage of that discount. I already told you about Outlier. Let me just quickly pull up our Discord if you guys want to come join us over there. Oh, and you know what? Before I do that, let me get this loading. But I was going to say, Jordy brought something up that I didn't even catch on to. I didn't realize Max Crosby is out tonight. So that makes me want to sort of revisit the Bijan situation, because 89.5 demon that Jordy got early, I didn't get that. So it's not a demon anymore. So he got great value there. I would absolutely take it at 89, but it's not giving me a higher multiplier for it now. 99 is the next option that I currently have for a demon if I want to throw Bijan into a demon slip. And with Max Crosby out, I might want to consider that, because if we take a look here, if it's a little bit softer for them to, run the ball, they've been running Bijan like crazy lately. We got 26 carries against the Chargers. That's a tough matchup. He turned that into 102 yards, which is good against the Chargers. And then the last game against Minnesota, he got 22 carries for 92 yards. But the reason I bring that up is because they got dominated in that game, 42-21. So you wouldn't expect 22 carries in a game that they're down by that much. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, Bijan Demon is probably going to go into a few of my slips now at 99 if Max Crosby is out as well, because I don't think that they're going to be down to the Raiders by half of their score, 21-42. So I think that Bijan's going to get 20 carries tonight. So all that being said, I wanted to just throw that on your radar again real quick too. But we're going to continue to be making demon slips. I'm probably going to make at least 5 or 6 more of these, and I'll be sharing them all to the Discord. If you guys want to come join us, you can use the Parlay Play promo, and use code BACKDOOR, and then email us at bdfantasysports@gmail.com, and we'll just confirm that the code was used. If you want to skip that and you want to just jump right in, you just go over to Patreon and sign up there. That manages our subscriptions. So you go into the settings once you've signed up there. The settings on Patreon, there's a connected apps option in the menu bar. You can log in right after you get your subscription started on Patreon. Brought the price down. We ran our Black Friday special, and then we ran our Cyber Monday special. And then after that, we were kind of like, maybe there's a way that we can actually get this price down overall. Honestly, the main reason we wanted to do is because we have a lot of loyal members that we appreciate, and they rode out through us all through the summer, and no basketball, no football. And so we're like, how do we get this price down? So we were able to get it down to $12.99 a month. So now it's less than 50 cents a day. If you want to come be a part of our community, we'd love to have you. And then if you want to follow us on our socials, it's just at BackdoorFS on TikTok, Instagram, and X. We also have our personal socials listed below if you want to follow any of us. But guys, we appreciate you tuning in. It's been fun doing these longer videos with you guys. I'm so bummed that, we still got like 7 weeks left, I guess. But I'm already looking forward to next season for football, because our football show has evolved. this year, and I'm really loving what it's turned into as of late. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hit us with any questions you guys might have. Let us know your favorite picks for tonight. Good luck if you're in the fantasy football playoffs, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Good luck, guys.